Okay, cats and kittens, are you ready for one great ride? Come live the adventure with your host, Grumpy Viking. My new show, The Handlebar Life, is all about living the ultimate adventure.
But when I was 8 years old, I got run over in New York City by a drunk New York City detective. He hit me on my bicycle, snapped my leg in half right here. I spent 6 months or 6 weeks in the hospital and 6 months in a body cast because back then they didn't do the pin stuff. They put you in traction. And so my leg is still screwed up. And so because of that, I couldn't do the tumbling. I couldn't do the gymnastics that are required. When those guys are jumping off the top rope and everything. I mean, it looks brutal, and it is, but there's a safety. It's like having sex with a transvestite. You have to have you have to have a safety word, man. Yeah.
All right, probably cut that part
but you gotta call it at some point.
Hey there, cats and kittens. We're coming to you today from Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson here in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. And we are truly blessed to be joined by an icon of the handlebar life and the motorcycle industry in general. We have Brady here, who just happens to be one of the key salespeople here at Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson in such a magnitude that he is one of the top influencers as well as one of the top salespeople. Not just here at Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson, not just here, Colorado, or the United States. We're talking in the world, capiche? Okay? This guy is the real deal, and he has got an amazing story that we are so honored and so blessed to have him here today wanting to share with us. So with that, Brady, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Grumpy. So I'll tell you a bit about myself, where it started and where I am now. So I grew up in Rock Springs, Wyoming. It's a little town off the interstate. And I remember sitting down at our store downtown and Harleys start rolling in like no other, man. I was like 10 or 11 and my heart was racing. And I remember all the pretty girls that were older than all of us. They were like, oh, the boys are in town. And I was like, that's hot. So all of a sudden I was like, I want to be these guys. This is the group I want to be. And that was the Outlaws and all that. And I was like, once I get a motorcycle, I can be an outlaw. So I bought my first Harley at 18 and my life changed from there, in the good, in the bad. I started working at Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson 5-6 years ago, and I quickly became a top salesman. And all of a sudden it was like nationwide, and I sell a ton of Harleys. So I make people's dreams happen every day. So June 6th is part of this story. I was on my motorcycle. I was drinking, which I should not have been. And I don't remember any of this, but I ran from the police and I hit a tree while they were chasing me, which put me in 30 days of life support, 30-day coma, and my life is forever changed. And I'm gonna say, not for the bad, but for the good. I had some great things happen. I got God in my life now. I'm closer with my family than I've ever been. And the people that I hurt in the past, I think some of them had had enough of me, which is okay. And I'm just to be a better guy. I got a second chance at life, so it's going to be great. So, like I say, June 6th, that happened. I wake up from the coma, and my buddy's like, "What's it like running from 15 cops?" I'm like, "You got to be joking me." And sure enough, not. He wasn't joking. I ran from a ton of cops. I ended up with 2 felony eluding tickets, which I pray that I'm getting through right now. And like I said, this is my second chance at life, and I'm blessed to do this, and I want to be the best guy I can. If I can help make a difference with any of you, I'd be glad.
Brady, that is an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that with me and all the cats and kittens out there in the handlebar life. So much respect to you for not only making it out the other side, but also making those changes in your life. That is fantastic. So, cats and kittens, if you want to hear more about Brady's life and his experiences, come on down here to Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson in beautiful Loveland, Colorado, and come and say hi to Brady. You never know. Maybe you'll pick up your first Harley or that next Harley that you kind of been thinking about. Until next time, cats and kittens, hang in there. And always remember, live the adventure. Always wondered what a dead skunk's hemorrhoid tastes like. Now I know.
And we built choppers out of everything. We took whatever we can get our hands on, and we chopped it.
Yep.
And we built some beautiful shit back in the day.
Yeah, but now, what do you think of the evolution
Darn.
as,
Really?
as we're coming forward?
Fuck. I can't even get guys to understand how oil works. And
But at least can they spell it?
no.
No. Well,
now everybody just buys a bike off the showroom floor at the Harley Davidson dealership or some used bike shop, and they have no clue.
no.
They can't even change their oil.
Nope.
You know? And with this shop, when I started this shop, I wanted it to be an old school shop.
Mm-hmm.
So you show up here and you come in here and you say, "Hey, Frank, do you have this part or that part?" And I give you the part and you go out in the parking lot and fix your fucking bike.
Yeah.
No, now it's, I got to fix it for you, you know?
Well, to be fair, it pays the bills.
Yeah, but
To
it's,
be-
but it's not as fun.
No, not for them. They don't learn anything, but
Yeah,
it pays the bills.
I don't know shit.
So with that being said, with this new generation especially, what advice have you got for these cats and kittens out there that think maybe they want to get their hands on some wrenches, do some stuff, do some custom work, maybe dive right into that whole world of custom bikes? What's your advice for these newbies?
No. That's an open question from hell.
It is. That's why I'm not answering.
During the summertime, and there was these 2 cats showed up on their Harley Davidson motorcycles. And they camped out in what's now Fabersam Park. It was Schoenberg Farms back in the 70s on their Harleys. And my little 13-year. Of course, I already been riding motorcycles and everything. But my little ass finally got up to enough gut to go talk to these cats. What are you guys doing? Oh, we ride. We start out in SoCal and we ride all the way across and we just work odd jobs and do this and do that all the way, and we're just on our way back to SoCal. It's August, so we're taking in the alfalfa. And I was like, oh my damn God, this is fucking deluxe. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to live. And I want to be, that dude. And I've actually lived it since. I went to school for motorcycle mechanics in '79. I went to Sturgis for my first time in 1980. I never had so much fun in my freaking life. I don't remember coming home. That was kind of a bad thing, but I got home. Yeah, and it's been fun. And just the whole gig, the whole biker life, what it was like back then, was absolutely fucking awesome to me. I couldn't get enough of it. I wanted it, but we weren't these Puritans. We weren't the little twats. We had to have a brand new fucking FLHTCU something with the stereo and the fucking whatever.
I don't know about y'all, but I like to start my day catching up with handlebarlife.com, enjoying a fresh hot cup of coffee and a well-deserved refreshing poop. Key to happiness right there. Live the adventure. With some really cool folks like Mr. Sean Van Etta here, who happens to be the creator and owner of Rocky Mountain Moonshine, who has brought some of his selection here today. And if you remember, we actually sampled some of the black cherry that was so delicious and so smooth in an earlier episode with Frank at his shop. So with that, Sean has a great story to tell. And now I'm going to zip it. And Sean, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm Sean, Rocky Mountain Moonshine. What I've created here is a Southern recipe that I learned years ago, and I've kept to the tradition of a true Southern moonshine. And yeah, what I do is I take grains that are from right here in Colorado, Berthoud, Colorado, in fact, right down the road. Every bit of our grains comes from Root Shoot Malting Company. I grind the grain, I cook the grain, I distill on the grain and ferment on the grain, and then I make these lower proof, ready to drink cocktails with that traditional Southern moonshine.
Wow. That is very cool. And let me tell you, cats and kittens, all of these, very smooth, very flavorful. This, as you know, your old handlebar Sherpa here, does like something with a little more horsepower, like his original here. And of course, I have a family history that kind of got me a little nostalgic the first time I got to meet Sean. So we had a good discussion, and I am just amazed at what he does at his distillery. So if you want to learn more about Sean or Rocky Mountain Moonshine, they're on the internet.
Yes?
And you can come on up to beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado, not far away, and tour his facility, come and see him in person, or a lot of the local stores have his product on the shelf, and they don't stay there long. So let me tell you, cats and kittens, you get the opportunity, grab one of these guys. And something I learned just today, some of them are great in combination. Like the chocolate over here and the cherry, you can make a cherry cordial. Very tasty. Any other combinations that you might recommend here, or?
Well, what we got here is with these ready to drink cocktails, they're a little bit lower on the proof, so they're high on the flavor. They are great for after dinner drinks. And if you like a little more proof, well, you just get 2 bottles and just bring it up to your level of taste. This true Southern recipe right here is made with all the grains from Berthoud. There's a 2% sugar in there to make it an authentic moonshine. We run the still so slow that other distillers actually kind of laugh at us, but this is how it's done to make a smooth alcohol. All right. So this apple pie right here is also a Southern recipe that I learned, and it is made with apples from Colorado, Hotchkiss, Colorado. We try to make everything we got with Colorado product. This is our peach. This peach here is made with actually Palisade peaches, which is pretty famous for Colorado. It is delicious, but it's made with Palisade peaches. This is our black cherry. This one is made with cherries from the Colorado Cherry Company right here in Loveland. This one is delicious. Well, this is a chocolate moonshine that is made with the grains from here in Loveland. The chocolate does come from elsewhere. And actually an old guy gave me this recipe. He just was yakking with him. He was an old shiner too. And he said, "You want to make a penny dropper? This is how you make it." And so I took his recipe and I told him one day I'm going to make money with this. And he said, "Go ahead." The guy's still right here in Loveland too. So
I think Grumpy needs to take this one home with him.
take that one with you. That one's the highest proof.
Yeah.
It's great, man. People put that in their coffee and they tell me all the time that I drink coffee
Sold.
black.
So
They drink it with creamer. They say that is great with coffee creamer or Snickers creamer.
all right, cats and kittens, you heard it right here. You've got some great moonshine. You've got some whiskeys and some bourbons coming out. Go down to your local bars. Go down to your local liquor stores. Tell them about Rocky Mountain Moonshine and all the wares that Sean here offers. Okay? Start getting it out in your area. Wouldn't it be nice to go down to your local watering hole and start knocking back a few of these guys? Hell yeah, it would. All right. So till next time, cats and kittens, hang in there and always remember, live the adventure. Oh, hey there, cats and kittens. So you want to know more about how some of these projects landed here at the Iron Horse Blacksmith, huh? Maybe some of the backstories on the Pale Horse Project, the Phoenix Rising Project, or even the TX45 Project. Well, there's some one-stop shopping advice for you. Go to the website, thehandlebarlife.com, join the family. You'll get the stories, the backstories, and you'll learn a lot, and that is guaranteed. Welcome, cats and kittens. I'm the Grumpy Viking, host of the Handlebar Life and owner of the Iron Horse Blacksmith, where I make the magic happen. There are certain things in life that I will always appreciate and never apologize for. Like a fine cigar, a well-crafted bourbon, a finely made firearm, why? Because craftsmen with well-honed skills and a lifelong passion for what they do took the time to make them. And guess what? I am a master craftsman with a passion for what I do. I make custom parts and build machines. And it really doesn't matter if it's got wheels or tracks, maybe an impeller or a propeller. If it's controlled by handlebars, I dig it. I make parts like this every day. No computer. Just this and these. I've been using my skills longer than most of you been alive. If I want to admit it, more than twice as long as some of you have been alive. Like most, my passion started out when I was a kid, envying those cats who had the handlebars. My first custom job, well, it was a cool decal that I put on my tricycle. Since then, I've stepped it up a little bit. I've been a scientist, an engineer, more makers than you can probably name. A fabricator, a welder, a painter. I've made stuff that went to outer space. Stuff that was used on the fastest, most technologically advanced racing vehicles on the planet. Centerpiece features on high-end show vehicles. And made stuff that's gone inside the human body. So I guess, yeah, you can say I walk the walk. Walking the walk. Yeah, I've been doing that more decades than I care to remember. But if you dig handlebars and you feel a passion starting to grow inside of you, good. Join me. Live the adventure and start building your story.
I have a disease,
Okay.
hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Okay.
Basically, and it's genetic. It's handed down to me. I didn't ask for it. It has nothing to do with these or this or any other fucking thing. Basically, my heart's turning into a brick. It's hardening.
Son of a bitch.
And short of having a heart transplant, I'm done, man. I mean, I'm
Well,
it sucks when you really realize you've come to the end, almost.
yeah, I get that one.
So I'm hoping I can find somebody to come in here, take over the shop, and fucking run the place. I want to still be here. I would fucking die if I couldn't come in here every fucking day and do what I do. But with my health issue, I get fatigued
Oh yeah, that's
so fast.
understandable,
I mean, you know, and I can't do what I used to do. I want to teach. I want somebody to come in here and teach them what I've known, what I've been doing for the last 45 years. But there's nobody out there. They don't get it. They just don't get it.
No, the whole world has changed, Frank. They left guys like us behind.
Yeah.
The whole world has changed.
Yeah. You know, and I try to explain this. I had that dream one night. And I woke up and it was pitch black. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was trying to get out of it. And then I realized I was in a coffin and I was buried alive. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, help, help. when nobody's there to hear me. Nobody's listening. Nobody's understanding. I'm yelling, help, help, you know? And that's what it feels like nowadays. Like I'm buried alive.
Hey there, cats and kittens. Well, as you can see, we're getting ready to do the mock-up on the custom ignition pieces that we machined and polished here at the Iron Horse Blacksmith for the Pale Horse project. So, if you'd like to learn how to do proper polishing or proper mock-ups, please visit our website, thehandlebarlife.com, and join the family. Oh, hey there, cats and kittens. I'm glad you could join me today down here at the Iron Horse Blacksmith. Perfect timing, by the way. We've been getting a lot of chatter from y'all on some of your parts and pieces, whether they've been on your machines for a while and they're looking a little weathered, or maybe you ordered them online or you even picked them up local, but maybe they're mill run finish, like this hunk of aluminum here. Just not up to your standards of where you want to see your bits and pieces on your machine. You like bright and shinies. Well, in case you haven't guessed, your old handlebar Sherpa here likes his bright and shinies too. So today, we're going to take this opportunity, since you're here, and teach you how to breathe some new life into those things, whether they're a fresh bit or an old piece. Okay? So we've got an aluminum part and a brass part today. We're down to the final step of our bench work, which is some 2500 grit, wet and dry. Then we're going to head over, once we're satisfied, to the cloth wheel using our Magic Rouge and attempt to put a mirror finish on both of these pieces today. Seems kind of simple, doesn't it? When you're thinking that it's the last step or two on the journey. So, yeah, this journey takes a little bit. One of the biggest things it's going to take is some elbow grease. Oh, did I happen to mention you're going to need a whole butt ton of elbow grease? Just saying. You're saying to yourself, well, Grumpy, how many more steps did it take? Well, I'm glad you asked. About 3 dozen or so. Now, these are two relatively small pieces, but they do have some flat areas on them, and obviously anything that can be seen, especially if it takes up a good chunk of the real estate on your particular part, then you want to make sure that you do it proper. And we're going to go through the steps shortly. But for this, I think we started out with some mill run on the aluminum, and now we're about to take it to mirror finish. Of course, ending up with 2500 grit on the bench. But we started off, I believe, with 220. And 400, 600, 800, 1000. Then things really took a twist. Because we didn't step up 200 grit, we went 5. And for all you math majors out there, yes, 1500 grit was the correct answer. Then 2000, and now we're about to wrap up with 2500. All right, you ready to get to work? I gotta go find that jar of elbow grease. Welcome back, cats and kittens. Safety first whenever you're working in a shop around machinery or what have you. Pop on the short sleeves, and yes, ditch the jewelry, which I will be doing here shortly. But I wanted to go over the items that you're going to need for the final phase of bench work for the polishing DIY project for today. Obviously, our final grit is going to be 2500, so you'll need plenty of that. You're going to need a hard, flat, clean surface with which to polish on. You're going to need a little bit of painter's tape, of course, to hold the 2500 grit on. Last but definitely not least, get yourself a little quart jug. Fill it mostly with water and a tablespoon or so of your favorite dishwashing liquid, and that keeps your wet dry paper from loading up. Very important when you're polishing, especially softer metals like aluminum and brass. Hey there, cats and kittens. Well, like I said, no jewelry. And as you can see, all of our scratch lines are east to west. So as we alternate grits, we also alternate directions, north to south, east to west. And that's how we can tell that we've gone down far enough and gotten rid of the last grit's scratch marks, if you will. So now we're down to our final bench grit, which is 2500, and we're going to do a little bit of a figure eight, because when we get over to the rag wheel, we are going to make sure that all the scratches are gone. So again, we have our water and soap. We'll just throw a little bit on there. And when you're dealing with thin material, cats and kittens, you might as well get used to the idea that you're going to sand away some of your flesh too. So grab on and we'll see what we can do. As you can see, we're getting our swirls in. Now this is going to take a while, so why don't we catch up with each other over at the rag wheel. Okay, cats and kittens, final phase, the rag wheel. Got our specs on, keep our eyes safe. We got some nitrile gloves going on so we don't put fingerprints back onto our nice polished surface. And of course, a decent apron for keeping all the schmutz off our clothes. You dig? Okay. Okay. We're just going to use a little bit of Miracle Rouge on here. Start making our, hopefully, a nice fair finish in our clothes. We go very light with everything. All light pressure. Let the rouge do all the work. It's an abrasive. Well, okay there, cats and kittens. After about half an hour, and apparently about half a rag wheel later, we got them not looking too dang shabby. Still have to clean them off, of course, but I think we're up to, other than a few errant scratches that we'll take care of later, I think we did okay. I'll let you kind of grade us. I'm going from this to this. And yes, it is still a little bit dirty. Maybe a little side by side. Okay. Till next time, cats and kittens. Hang in there. And always remember, live the adventure. Okay there, cats and kittens. If you want to learn more about polishing or anything else that we do here at the Iron Horse Blacksmith, just go to the website and join the Brotherhood. You'll get all sorts of in-depth knowledge, and you'll be able to communicate with me and some of the other cats and kittens that can give you great advice on how to keep your ride shiny or keep up on that maintenance that maybe you've been a little bit hesitant about tackling. But remember, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you might be right. But before you give up, give us a yell.
You can have the fanciest paint job on the planet. I don't give a shit. I look at the mechanical part of it.
Gotcha. So mechanical mind starts it off. Any other advice? Well, let me ask you this. Let me rephrase it maybe a little bit. So out of the people that come in and say, "Hey man, I'm interested in doing this," what demographic do you think tends to take to more, tends to listen more, tends to, if you say, all right, the way you do this is X, Y, and Z. Here you go. Here's the wrenches. Have at it.
Same thing I used to tell my kids. Read. Get a book. Get the manual. Read.
The manual. Okay.
Read.
There you go.
Read. You can learn everything that you ever want to know by reading.
Yep.
That's the most important thing you could ever have in this life. And the second thing is math.
Yep.
But reading is a good start. Get yourself a manual.
Okay.
Or something. I mean, read something. I got books all over the place on how to build choppers, on how to build, everything. I got books everywhere. I've been reading my whole life.
So you're getting manuals, learning how to use the tools. All right. Branching out into other tools, not just wrenches, but I see right over there is a box with a set of 0 to 1 micrometers in it.
Uh-huh.
So you need to learn
how to read a micrometer.
How to read a micrometer. How to use a lot of, maybe not
a vernier caliper.
Vernier caliper, yeah, you got to do that. Lays on the tongue nice. Not quite as good as cider soaking, but not bad. So if you want in-depth, straight-up, unsolicited reviews of sticks like this that you need to try, then get on over to the handlebarlife.com and live the adventure. Hey there, cats and kittens. We're here today at John Elway Harley Davidson in Greeley, Colorado. And we're fortunate enough to be joined by Rochelle from the Black Sheep Company. Okay, Rochelle, for those out there that don't know, being the queen of patches, at least of northern Colorado, and keeping all our cuts clean, much appreciated, tell us how you got your start. What motivated you? What got you going?
Well, I actually started with my husband at the time, and there was a need for motorcycle apparel in the northern community for Harley riders, as well as sewing those patches on. So we decided to open up a shop in 2020, right after the pandemic. And it started off really great. We opened it because there needed to be a store for the Harley riders in northern Colorado. The vests, the chaps, the helmets, something that is more affordable for the everyday rider, as well as the sewing. I actually did not want to sew at first. I was against it, and I ended up teaching myself on YouTube how to sew. I learned everything I needed to know about the type of machine to use, the stitch length, and the thread. And then once I took over the company myself, I changed it to Black Sheep Company, has the same initials as BSC to kind of make that transition smooth. And I became the face of the company. and ended up getting a divorce. And so once that divorce was final, I got the company in that and decided to go on the road, cut my overhead expenses, and be where everybody else is.
Wow, that is a great story. Well, you definitely are making your mark as the face of the company, without a doubt. And a need here in northern Colorado, actually all over the state, for somebody to do that type of work. Like I said, cats and kittens, the queen of the patches, at least here in northern Colorado, if not all of Colorado. So take a lesson from that story. You too can learn from YouTube. It's all not about a classroom, okay? Okay, so Rochelle, like we were talking about before, vests, as we know, are hyper personal to every biker out there, okay? They tell a life story, where you've been, what you've done, what you're doing, who you are. Like you brought up, it's a lot like tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? What have you seen in your journey being the patch queen?
Well, when I first started this, I actually knew nothing about the motorcycle industry. I knew nothing about motorcycle organizations and clubs. And since then, I have definitely learned to respect the vest and the patches. People do earn those patches either through traveling, through a period of proving themselves to earn them for a club or an organization. I also know that with some of those patches, they're not just something that people can touch. And I take that with the highest honor to be able to take those patches, place them on the vest, and sew them properly for the right customers.
Outstanding. And we're all honored to have someone that does such an outstanding job with it too. Keeping our cuts clean is extremely important, okay? Doing something half-assed, no good in the biker world. It's either right or it goes on fire. So, much appreciated.
Well, that's why I really strive on the importance of the thread that I use.
Okay.
I use a bonded polyester thread, and it is marine grade. It has the strength that it needs, has UV protection. All those bikers are always out in the sun, in the rain, in the snow, and it will stay strong for those. I also guarantee my patches, so if they start to come apart, I will resew that for free. And I really take pride in the thread that I use. The machine that I have is a professional grade leather machine with a walking foot, and I use an 18 gauge needle. If you use a smaller needle, it will perforate the vest, and you don't want that happening.
Wow. I'm getting an education and a half here. Wow. I'm getting an education and a half here today, cats and kittens. A lot of the stuff I did not know. Now, the riding out in the sun, the rain and the snow, oh yeah, that's me. So knowing that thread is going to stay stout through all my rides, and the fact that it's guaranteed, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, how can you be any more professional than that? How could you ask for anything more than that? But that's what makes Rochelle. So, Rochelle, man, we've learned so much today, and I thank you so much. But a lot of the viewers and me want to know the biker community. What changes have you seen, and what trends would you say that the community seems to be leaning toward at this point in time?
It's amazing how much it changes every year. With the store, I sold vests, and every year there would be that one specific vest that would be the most popular. And it does change every year. One of the manufacturers that I use is First MFG, and they recently came out with a perforated leather vest. So it adds that breathing while you're going down the road without it getting so hot in the summertime. Those have been really popular. Another trend has been shorter vests that come up a little bit higher on you. That way, when you're sitting on the bike, you don't have your vest riding up, kind of like, I call it a turtle. You don't have that little turtle thing going on with your
Yeah.
vest.
Yeah. Don't know nothing about that, of course.
And one of my most popular helmets has always been Lane Splitter by Built Well. That one sells like hotcakes, and I always try to keep those in stock. And people that have used them before come back and reuse it. If they've ever been in an accident, it's helped them and they come back for more.
Wow. Well, that's good information to know. So that perforated vest, yeah, I might be coming to see you for one of those. The lane splitter, built well, has been around for a while. Not quite as long as me, but it's been around for a while. But that's great information, man. Learning so much today. Thank you so much, Rochelle. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're here at John Elway Harley Davidson, joined by Rochelle. Dang it. Okay. So we're here at John Elway Harley Davidson, joined by Rochelle, the patch queen of Northern Colorado. Is that okay?
I love it.
Okay. So I'm going to do that one more time. I didn't ask you ahead of time. I apologize.
No,
Okay.
I love it.
All right, cats and kittens. So we're here at John Wayne.
John Waywell.
John Wayne.
Wrong state. All right.
John Wayne Harley Davidson.
That would be pretty cool. I know. Okay, there, cats. Hey there, cats and kittens. We're here at John Elway Harley Davidson today, joined by Rochelle, the patch queen of Northern Colorado. And during our discussion, we went over how you are a traveler. You take your craft, your trade on the road with you, going to different dealerships like John Elway Harley Davidson here in Greeley, Colorado, as well as others, along with different events, rallies, bike nights. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it works out for you?
It actually started right here. There was an event going on, and for the very first time, I moved my sewing machine out of the shop. I really enjoyed being where the people are. And once I closed the shop and decided to go full time, I had somebody help me throw some wheels on there to help move everything around more swiftly.
Yep.
And I have branched out working with other local businesses such as the Rush Event Center in Evans, the Burnout Grill in Milliken, and I also work over at Thunder Mountain in Loveland.
Yeah, love those places. So, you being so busy and traveling, how do people keep up with you, get in touch with you if they want to take you up on some of your craft? How do they do that?
So I do post a lot on Facebook. All of my events go onto Facebook. I also post other events as well. That way the community is knowledgeable on what's going on, if they're looking for a ride or something to do. The events that I will be sewing, I always make a comment that I will be there. And I also have business cards where people can get in touch with me. I do take in-house appointments, and that is also where I have my pocket machine. I will not sew your pockets shut.
Somehow, I don't know. You gonna be joking on some old guy over here?
No.
Sewing my pockets?
Nope.
Okay.
I can't do it on the go.
Oh, that's funny. So, Michelle, people can come to you, to your base of operations as well. And you were telling us about a pocket machine. I'm intrigued. What is a pocket machine?
So that is something a lot of other people don't have, especially on the go.
Okay.
And it has a small cylinder arm on it instead of a flat bed. And so the pocket goes over the cylinder arm.
Okay.
And I'm able to sew that patch on the outside of that pocket without sewing any pockets shut.
Oh,
Very convenient and helpful for clubs that have side rockers.
Yeah.
And other bikers that have different kinds of patches and they rather have them on the front versus the back, because there's always usually a gun pocket, a regular pocket, sometimes there's a cell phone pocket. A lot of people don't think about that when they're placing their patches.
Very true. Very true. I can see where they'd overlook that. Great tool. So, cats and kittens, just another reason why Queen of the Patches. Just saying. Okay, Rochelle. Everybody wants to know, including old Grumpy here, what is the wildest, craziest story you've had on your journey?
I don't know about wild and crazy, but definitely unique. I had a customer walk into the shop one time, take their boots off, and ask me to sew the insole into the boot. That way it didn't come off with the liner. So I took it, sewed it, and it was good to go, I guess.
So he took it off
He took it off, which I was a little worried,
and he asked you to sew inside of the boot.
inside of the boot.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely needed the pocket machine for that. Luckily, they didn't stink, which was nice.
Well, that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh.
worried about.
Dang. That is kind of crazy. All right, cats and kittens. Rochelle and the Black Sheep Company are the real deal. So don't be wandering off getting Cousin Irma to do your patchwork for you. Keep your cuts clean, all right? You hearing me right now? All right. Get on Facebook, like Rochelle said. Get a hold of her. Do what you got to do. But this is the lady you want doing your patchwork. Capiche?
At Black Sheep Company, I take the utmost pride in all the work that I do. I always make sure you're leaving happy and guaranteed with those patches to stay on your vest. If they ever come off or fray in any way, I will get those fixed up for you. I try to beat everybody's prices, and as always, I won't sew those pockets shut, and I'm glad to help you with the placement and anything that you have as far as questions go. If you're looking for any other patches, I'm your girl to go to. You can find me on Facebook at Black Sheep Co. And I also have, I don't want to mention my webpage because I haven't updated it. So you can find me on Facebook at Black Sheep Co. And that's exactly where you can message me, get all my contact info, and find the events that I will be at.
All right. Till next time, cats and kittens. Hang in there. And always remember, live the adventure.
All right.
Oh, man. Outstanding.
At the time, there was this restaurant that had like this glass, the big long like table with a glass pane over it, and
Okay.
people would put business cards and stuff in there.
Oh, nice.
So I got the idea. I was like, let me put a sticky note, and I was like, free tattoos. Put my Instagram on it.
Free.
Yeah, free. I was like, yeah, anyone free. I don't know. I had so much fun doing it. And a couple months go by, and someone messages me, and they're like, hey, I saw your sticky note at the Fuzzies Tacos.
It's amazing
Yeah,
what
I
can
know.
happen at a Fuzzy's Tacos.
Yeah, you could. It could be really serendipitous sometimes. But it took me a while. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to tattoo a stranger. I thought I was. Anyway, eventually I did that, and then it just kind of kept. It snowballed. It's crazy. Like it went from that. Then I was like tattooing a bunch of strangers, and it was just this character that I was doing. It was like this abstract character that meant something to me. And other people started to resonate with the meaning that I attached to it. And
Okay. Yeah.
eventually, like, I had a buddy that was like, hey, do you want to like use one of my tattoo machines? And, you know, you can learn how to do that. And I was like, yeah, totally. That'd be fun. So I used their machine, tattooed a couple people, went through like the learning curve, obviously. So I did this without, so what I'm getting at is I did this with no apprenticeship. That's typically what you do. That's what you
Right,
should
right.
do. That's
Okay.
like what it comes down to. And at the time I didn't know anything. You know, like I said, I didn't come from a tattoo background. I didn't even know what apprenticeship was.
So
or
you
that
just took.
Yeah, I was just like, this is cool. I think I can
Wow.
learn how to do it. I think everyone's going to have to learn how to do it.
Right, right, right.
Definitely a naive take, but did that. So somehow, I don't know how it happened, but enough people wanted tattoos, and I quit my job, and I was tattooing like that for about 4 years. I would say, like, professionally, I've grown my business and brand and
Okay.
whatnot. And then one day I met these guys from Magnetic through
Just start from one day.
Yeah.
The guys from Magnetic.
Wait for
Is
the-
it that late? Everybody's
I don't know. I
leaving?
think everyone's trying to beat the crowd.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, one day at a bar, I saw some bikes out parked in front of this bar, and I knew that the one bike that I had saw was a bike that I always saw parked out in front of Magnetic, because I worked at a
Okay.
coffee shop at the time, or back when I saw
Right.
it. Next to it, it was like right down the street. So I knew that those guys were, there's some bike riders there. Anyway, I met him and I was like, hey dude, like I see your bike, I know you tattoo, I tattoo too, very naively how,
Right.
and so time goes by, we become really good friends, and he's tattooed me a ton, he's doing my back, and just from being around that shop, it made me like, oh, there's a lot of things that I'm missing. I'm missing out on the camaraderie of being in a shop, and the family aspect of being in the shop, and the tradition, that's the traditional tattoos, the tradition of
You are pausing perfectly. So you got this down cold. All right.
yeah.
That is perfect. We'll go downstairs. My bike will be the only one still sitting out.
Yeah, I know, everyone's
The one-
gonna leave without me.
The one with all the water spots all over it from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Missing out on all of this like tradition, I realized.
Okay.
So I really took a liking to the shop. Again, I didn't have that experience. A lot of the friends I had made with tattooing were people just like me that had learned how to do it. So that was kind of my background with it, and really took a liking to the shop and the aspect of being, maybe just saying that, being
Okay.
in a shop.
Right.
And I expressed my interest, like, hey, I would be interested in being a part of this someday. And I know that, like, usually if you've tattooed without an apprenticeship, typically it's pretty hard to kind of break into that, without the right guidance, or,
Right. Yeah, I did not even know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's just like, it's one of those traditions, it's one thing I've learned about it that I did miss out on, is why this craft is so sacred. That's what I've missed out on. It's obviously, it's a beautiful thing. It's a great way to connect to people. People resonate with your art. That's awesome.
Yep.
But the tattooing itself is a craft that that's been, if I'm into, say, for example, old Harley Davidsons, I love vintage bikes. I love American heritage.
Mhm.
Tattooing isn't exempt from that, so
Oh, yeah.
that's an extension of that I didn't know that I liked as much as I did. So anyway, time goes by. I had to go in a bunch, and eventually I was there one day hanging out. I think I might have been getting tattooed, and I left to go grab some pizza with buddies, and one of them texted me from the shop. They're like, hey, get back now. Come talk to Dub, who's the owner. And I was like, right now? And they're like, yeah, get back right now. So I ripped on my little like dirt bike. I like ripped back through town. I was like, can you guys save my beer and pizza? I'm going to be right back. And
Nice. Gotta have priorities.
well, I mean, it was like, well, what do I want more? A career with my friends, or this?
Who says
$8
you can't have
pizza?
both? Come on.
Well, I did have both. I went and talked to Dub. I ripped right back, and saw him outside, and I just walked up to him and I was like, hey, Dub, I'm here to talk to you about a job. I'd love to work for you. And
Good for you.
and we shook hands, and he was like, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, yes, sir. So I've been with them now, not very long. It's been about 2.5 months.
Okay.
And I've taken a step back from tattooing. Like I said, I was tattooing full time for about 4 years.
Right.
So my contribution to like that respect of the heritage is I'm taking a step back. I'm not tattooing. I'm working odd jobs to make money, so that way I can learn in exchange for this craft that I've now fallen in love with.
Nice.
So that's a
Nice.
little bit about me and how I got into magnetic.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, obviously, body art is extremely personal,
Yeah.
just like picking out your bike or whatever handlebar vehicle that you like, whether it's snowmobile, jet ski, etc. It's a very personal thing. So, thank you for the respect to the craft. We got to learn a lot here today from Stinko from Magnetic Tattoos. You're in Fort Collins, Colorado, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you're in the area, make sure you stop in and see him. Do you guys have a website?
We have an Instagram that we're trying to get a little bit more
Okay.
traction into. Yeah, we got an Instagram that we're pretty active on.
Okay.
Each one of us have a pretty active Instagram.
All right. So look for him on Instagram and go look him up. If you're
Yeah.
thinking about getting your first or that next tattoo, go down and see Stinko. So, as always, cats and kittens, hang in there. And I just blew that. So,
We'll
see,
wait.
even I do it.
Hey.
I do it. So, till next time, cats and kittens, hang in there. And always remember, live the adventure.
But stop in every little town. Go visit people. Go learn life. There's so much life. There's so much beautiful stuff going on out there.
We do a lot of things on the Handlebar Life. We're going to teach you a lot of things. But nothing's going to replace you getting out there, grabbing a wrench, and getting after your projects. So go ahead and do that. Read up on it. Get on the interwebs. Man, I wish they had the interwebs 50 years ago. That would have been an awesome thing. But you got it now. So it's another tool. Use it.